Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield. I'm the Get Fit Guy, and in today's episode, we're going to take a deep dive into special things that you can do that basically allow you to recover much faster from your workouts. Now, I was recently splayed out on my bed in a hotel room in Linwood, Washington, my entire body throbbing and aching from having just surged across the finish line of a Spartan super obstacle race, which was about 9.8 miles of stumbling through Pacific Northwest rainforest while hoisting sandbags, clambering over logs and rocks, swinging from monkey bars, hauling buckets full of weight, crawling through barbed wire, and high-stepping through mud and bogs. And on my hotel room TV was the first movie I've watched in a long time. Logan, the icing on the cake of the Marvel Comics Avengers Wolverine series, which of course features the single most fast-recovering superhero on the face of the planet. And while you certainly can't expect to get punched 10 times in the face by a muscle-bound cyborg and expect your broken and smashed cheekbones and nose to magically regenerate, you can bounce back from many workouts, races, injuries, or surgeries far faster than modern sports medicine and orthopedics would have you to believe. Now, I'll admit it, I used to be pretty old school and simple when it came to recovery. Post-workout shake, maybe a little stretching or time with the foam roller, and if things got really bad, some ice massage or a cold bath. Not that there's anything wrong with that simplicity. After all, it's easy to get so carried away with new gadgets, toys, and recovery tools that you forget to take time to enjoy a glass of wine while taking in the sunset at the end of the day. But I remember when I shared an office with a sports medicine physician, and all day long, marathoners, triathletes, cyclists, and weekend warriors would come through the door complaining of chronic aches, pains, and injuries they'd been fighting for weeks, months, and even years. With just a few of the recovery tips I'm about to share with you, these folks could have easily saved themselves a lot of pain and frustration, not to mention money on doctor's visits and operations. So I would be remiss if I didn't equip you with every possible technique I personally know to keep your body in pristine shape, especially if you're laying down some damage by being more than a weekend warrior. And in this two-part series, I'm going to give you the lowdown on just a few of my favorite recovery techniques. 13 recovery techniques, in fact. Yes, I've mentioned some of these before in previous episodes, but here they are all assembled into one mighty resource that will have you bouncing back from body and muscle damage just like Wolverine, or at least far faster than a human body would normally be able to recover. So, how fast should you recover from, say, a marathon? Well, research indicates that the muscle damage from running a marathon can last up to 2 weeks, and also indicates that soreness is not a good indicator of that muscle healing. In other words, just because you aren't sore anymore doesn't mean that you are fully healed. This is the danger for marathon runners. Post-marathon muscle soreness fades after a few days, but submicroscopic damage within the muscle cells remains for at least a couple of weeks. And how about an Ironman? Well, probably because the non-weight-bearing nature of cycling and swimming allow for faster recovery from those events, recovery from an Ironman isn't much different than recovery from a marathon, anywhere from 8 to 19 days, depending on the athlete and the research you're looking at. A CrossFit WOD, or workout of the day? Well, it appears that most folks need at least 2 to 3 days of recovery to bounce back from the immune system and nervous system damage that can occur from just one of these hardcore 20 to 60-minute sessions. Although, tragically, many CrossFitters will do back-to-back sessions 5 to 6 days a week. Now, using heart rate variability testing, I've found that some people bounce back in as little as a day, and some take several days, so it can vary quite a bit from person to person. And if you don't know what heart rate variability testing is, just go to quickanddirtytips.com and check out the show notes for this episode number 336. I'll have plenty of links. And how about a hike? Okay, well, now we're getting more reasonable. It really only takes a day or so to bounce back from a reasonable multi-hour afternoon hike. But even just a smattering of the recovery tactics you're about to discover can speed that up too, and allow you to, for example, go for a hard run the day after a hike without heavy legs that feel like bricks are attached to the bottom of your shoes. So, for the human body's recovery functions, such as restoration of white blood cells and red blood cells, to repairing of muscle fibers, to restoration of hormones and neurotransmitters, to repletion of minerals, to healing of tiny nerves and blood vessels, here's a full list of tactics you can use to enhance your healing process. Now, many of the tactics you're going to discover may seem fringe or strange, but there's a definite physiological or biological mechanism via which they work. Take acupuncture, for example. For over 5,000 years, Eastern medicine practitioners have utilized acupuncture as a method of correcting the body's flow of qi in order to improve health and eliminate disease. While Western medicine practitioners may not agree with the means by which acupuncture works, they're finally recognizing that it does work for things like depression and chronic pain, allergies, and headaches, and there's many theories on how it works. The ancient Chinese explanation is that acupuncture corrects the flow of ki, our vital energy or life force. The Western explanation is that acupuncture stimulates blood flow, the release of endorphins, and other physiological processes that temporarily relieve pain. An acupuncture procedure involves inserting hair-thin needles into certain points along your meridian, the path through which your ki runs. Needling these points then stimulates the body's own natural healing mechanisms. Well, I'll admit that it may seem odd and a bit excessive to include acupuncture as a convenient recovery method, but as a coach and athlete, I've found the occasional acupuncture session incredibly useful for everything from nagging aches and pains to full-blown adrenal fatigue. And it's not like you have to duck down back alleys to get treatments. You can find licensed acupuncturists operating out of pristine medical clinics throughout the U.S. through the National Certification Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. And acupuncture is just a single example, and I'll put certainly plenty of links to acupuncture resources in the show notes for this episode over at quickanddirtytips.com. Just visit episode number 336. Now, in the second part of this two-part episode series, I'm going to give you details of the other 12 of my favorite recovery techniques. But in the meantime, you can check out more of the Get Fit Guy podcast and join the discussion over at facebook.com/getfitguy. And until next time, I'm Ben Greenfield, the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.